Ok, bueno, hoy es jueves 18 de mayo. Estamos con Adriano, el main developer de la billetera Game Changer. Estamos haciendo una pequeña sesión, una breve sesión en español de Gimbal Apps en español, un programa que empezamos con Juan, que estamos viendo troubleshooting, el programa PBL, y ahora gracias al apoyo de Adriano vamos a ver un poquito más a detalle la versión beta de la billetera Game Changer. Y específicamente en la clase de hoy, el módulo de hoy, vamos a ver cómo acuñar tokens y NFTs, ¿verdad, Adriano?
Exacto, Rod. ¿Qué tal
Perfecto.
todo? Gracias por la invitación. Y
Gracias.
sí, vamos a ver eso. Lo que sí podríamos ver, o sea, ¿cuál sería el objetivo, Roberto? ¿Verlo con la interfaz gráfica o no? ¿Verlo con programación?
Con
¿Cuál
programación,
sería?
crear el script en el playground,
Perfecto. Vamos con la versión beta entonces.
por favor.
Bueno, bueno, voy a compartir pantalla. Em, Avísenme
Listo, yo
cuando
puedo ver.
vean. Perfecto. Bueno, voy aprovecho también para anunciar que ahora sí ya es efectivo algo que creo que se los anuncié acá la vez pasada, pero que es relevante para todo esto. Cada vez que uno se pregunta, ¿cómo puedo con un poco de código hacer cosas con Game Changer? Recuerden que esta versión nueva, la versión que actualmente está en beta, la mayoría de las cosas que se pueden hacer, por ejemplo, digamos, reclamar los rewards de staking, o cuando vamos a Smart Send, a enviar, uy, eh, bueno, acá, perdón que he estado justo actualizando eh, ahí está. Cuando vamos a enviar, por ejemplo, eh, esto, también el famoso envío, digamos, de Smart Send, lo tenemos disponible también con el mismo DApp Connector. Perdón que hago esta breve aclaración, pero es súper importante. ¿Por qué? Porque si nos vamos acá, cada vez que aparezca este DApp Connector, podemos abrir exactamente la operación que estamos haciendo con la interfaz gráfica. La podemos abrir en Playground y ver exactamente lo que le estamos pidiendo hacer a la billetera, pero por dentro, como código. Entonces, la operación exacta que estábamos haciendo recién, por ejemplo, en SmartSend, de enviar un token, fíjense que tenemos acá definido el token, la dirección a la que lo queríamos enviar y todo. Esto, esto es un poco game changing en el sentido de que la billetera es bastante open en ese sentido. Les permite aprender y modificar lo que hacemos de forma gráfica, también de forma un poco más técnica, más avanzada. Entonces, si
Adriano,
hacemos lo
Adriano,
mismo
perdón,
con NFT Creator, sí, sí, sí,
solo
sí.
antes de seguir, ¿nos podrías explicar rapidito qué es un dApp Connector y qué hace?
Gracias, gracias por esas preguntas. Sí, el DApp Connector de una billetera, DApp, primero, decimos DApp Connector. DApp, sabemos que son estas aplicaciones que llamamos descentralizadas. Voy a definir aplicación descentralizada yo personalmente, yo, como una aplicación que se conecta, digamos, a una billetera de estas de Web3, estas billeteras de blockchain, por ejemplo. Entonces, si una aplicación, puede ser una página web, por ejemplo, o puede ser algún otro sistema que se conecte con una billetera de blockchain, lo llamamos DApp. El día connector, ¿sí? Es la ventana, el puente por el cual conectamos la billetera con la aplicación, ¿verdad? Es la tecnología que permite esa conexión. Sin esa tecnología no podemos conectar los dos mundos, la billetera con una aplicación externa a la billetera. Eh, entonces, esa es la definición, exactamente.
Gracias.
Lo que, lo que tiene, o sea, el enfoque que le hemos dado aquí en Game Changer a esto es profundo, es profundo. No hacemos, o sea, si nos conectamos con aplicaciones externas a través del DApp Connector de esta tecnología, dijimos, ¿por qué no también todo lo que hace la billetera lo hacemos pasar también por un DApp Connector? ¿Por qué? Porque el DApp Connector de Game Changer es abierto, es muy open. Se puede auditar, se puede ver lo que una aplicación está haciendo. Entonces, si todas las operaciones de la billetera misma también funcionan a través del DApp Connector, podemos auditar lo que la billetera está haciendo y aprender de ella. ¿Me entienden? Esa es el truquito, el principio este de diseño que tiene la billetera de Ahora en Más. Entonces, eh, así súper rápido, no quiero demorar mucho en la explicación, pero esto, con esta interfase, con el NFT Creator, creamos NFTs, ¿sí?
Ujú.
Yo rápido hago clic acá en este botón que me llena estos campos de este formulario muy rápidamente. Y lo que voy a hacer es simular que voy a mintear NFTs. Ahí fíjense que se están subiendo los NFTs a IPFS, ¿sí? Que es donde se van a almacenar los datos de las imágenes puntualmente. Eh, pero a lo que quiero llegar es a esto. Diseñamos gráficamente la misma transacción. Es más, si quieren, es súper rápido. Por ejemplo, agregamos no sé, otra billetera, aquí otra dirección, y diseñamos un drop de NFTs, donde podemos estar mandando dos NFTs a una dirección y otro a otra. Y fíjense que una vez más se nos despierta el DApp Connector y una vez más podemos aprender lo que estaría haciendo la billetera abriendo en Playground, ¿sí? En el editor de código podemos abrir el código y podemos chequear y ver todo lo que la billetera está haciendo. Y lo más lindo es que se puede guardar. Entonces, uno quiere guardar este diseño de un drop, de un minteo de NFTs y de una inmediata distribución de estos NFTs en la misma transacción, y uno lo puede guardar como un archivo y después lo puede editar, puede volver a replicar lo que uno hizo, tener la información guardada. Esto cambia mucho las cosas porque podemos realmente trabajar de forma muy profesional, si uno lo quiere, ¿no? Eh, y bueno, perdón, esa introducción era muy importante, Roberto.
No,
Eh,
muchísimas gracias. Esto está perfecto porque me permite, pues, permite pasar de esa interfase gráfica que es muy abstracta a una parte un poquito más que nos permite ver mucho granularmente qué está pasando en cada paso y cómo se crea esa transacción, digamos que detrás de bambalinas, ¿verdad? Perfecto, perfecto.
exacto.
Muchas gracias por eso.
Y clonarlo. Y clonarlo,
Correcto.
obviamente, y modificarlo. Entonces, si vos querés, por ejemplo, imagínate que vos quisieras customizar los nombres
Ujú,
de los NFTs, customizar, por ejemplo, el típico caso que es modificar, por ejemplo, los metadatos, donde, por ejemplo, hay cosas que no les gusten y hagan cosas que uno quiera, por ejemplo, modificar. Eh, entonces, por ejemplo, uno ya tiene la total libertad de hacerlo.
ujú.
Ya no van a estar dependiendo de que yo actualice la interfaz gráfica, digamos. Hey Martin, Martin, just uh, to,
Hey,
re- to recap a bit here, we are going to be having this first part in Spanish, okay? So bear with us until we switch to English later.
yeah, I
Please.
saw it from the chat.
Ok. Bueno, Roberto, entonces, la pregunta es, ¿empezamos de cero?
Ujú.
¿Qué tan rápido puedo ir para que lleguemos al objetivo?
Tan rápido como quieras. Para que nos dé tiempo en media hora, creo que bastante rápido y no hay problema.
Bueno, entonces puedo sugerir que explique yo un demo. En vez
Sí,
de, hacerlo de cero, lo explico. Explico un demo que ya existe.
Por favor.
Entonces, si nos vamos a demos, nos vamos a NFT Minting Demo,
Ujú.
¿sí? Sería la recomendación para mintear un NFT desde Playground, ¿sí? Desde este lenguaje, digamos, de scripting, de programación. Para los que vean esto por primera vez, es un lenguaje de programación, es un lenguaje interpretado, se le llama scripting language, es un lenguaje de dominio específico, es un lenguaje hecho para darle órdenes a las billeteras. Y en Game Changer lo que ocurre es que todo este código se puede transformar en links. Entonces después uno, haciéndole clic a ese link, a esa URL, uno ejecuta este mismo código, pero digamos esto permite que los usuarios finales ejecuten este mismo código que nosotros estamos escribiendo acá. Y esta es la forma en la cual podemos incluso hacer aplicaciones o automatizar, que con un clic en un link hagamos exactamente esto, que puede ser mintear una colección entera de NFTs. Es bastante poderoso lo que uno puede hacer con simplemente un link, que lo podemos mandar por cualquier lado, por WhatsApp, por Twitter, Discord. Bueno, súper rápido. Eh, Primero, esto es el primer elemento del lenguaje que tenemos que escribir. Esto es JSON, el formato de texto que estamos usando se llama JSON, ¿sí? Lo importante siempre, recuerden, aquí es el tipo, definir el tipo de cada bloque que estamos, eh, bloque de código o función del código que estamos llamando. Lo importante es el tipo, type, y acá el tipo se llama script. Cuando decimos tipo script, es como si dijéramos un bloque de código, es como una cajita que va a contener o más bloques de código adentro, anidados, o va a contener otras funciones. ¿Sí? Eh, Título y descripción es cuando ejecutamos esto, ¿sí? Es el famoso título y descripción que le ofrecemos a los usuarios finales que ejecuten esto. O en este caso, si es para nosotros mismos. No importa. Lo demás no le demos mucha importancia por ahora. Eh, Esto tiene que ver con el resultado. Configuro un poco el resultado de la ejecución de todo este código. Pero lo importante está en run, ¿sí? En esta propiedad run. Que si la expando, la abro, tenemos anidado todo lo que contiene este bloque de código, ¿sí? Eh, y fíjense que en este caso, por ejemplo, tenemos otro subbloque de código. Fíjense que también es de TypeScript y también tiene un run, ¿ven? Es muy parecido a lo que teníamos acá. Es la misma situación, el mismo, digamos, patrón, pero tenemos obviamente anidado aquí dentro otras cosas. Fíjense que acá ya directamente usamos otros types, ¿sí? Ya empezamos a usar funciones de lenguaje. Entonces voy a ir más rápido. Voy a empezar a explicar un poco lo que va haciendo el código puntualmente. Primero, lo que hacemos es almacenar bajo el nombre de address, ¿sí? Vamos a almacenar el resultado de esta función. Esta función nos da justamente la dirección actual de nuestra billetera, que es lo que vemos, por ejemplo, aquí arriba. No sé si lo ven, aquí, acá arriba, es la dirección que estamos en este momento usando, o también la dirección que vemos aquí. ¿Por qué? Porque Game Changer eh, es como un ojo que está viendo siempre una dirección por vez. Entonces, podemos cambiar esa dirección de Cardano y ver otra billetera. Entonces, cambiamos de dirección y vemos otra. Es un ojo que está viendo siempre una sola dirección. Entonces, está bueno poder preguntarle por código a GameChanger cuál es la dirección que estamos viendo en este momento, ¿sí? Entonces, de esta forma almacenamos en address, ¿sí? Que es como una variable. Almacenamos en address la dirección actual. Luego, lo que vamos a hacer es obtener información de esa dirección. Información. Vamos a decodificar la dirección y vamos a obtener información. Fíjense que lo hacemos a través de pequeñas, pequeñas, pequeñas expresiones de código que las llamamos macros, ¿sí? Que son como eh, pequeños trucos, pequeñas trampitas que nos damos el lujo de tener en el lenguaje este para hacer tareas eh, extra, ¿sí? Algunas tareas fuera de lo común. Las tareas comunes son estas. Estos son tipos de funciones comunes que tiene el lenguaje. Pero, por ejemplo, hay algunas otras accesorias, algunas funciones auxiliares que están disponibles adentro de estas macros, ¿sí? Entonces, fíjense cómo usamos getAddressInfo, que es una función auxiliar. Fíjense que adentro de getAddressInfo usamos otra función auxiliar muy usada en este lenguaje, la más usada, que es get. Que lo que hace get es traernos aquí, se va a reemplazar aquí adentro, ¿sí? Va a reemplazar el resultado de, de esta función get. ¿Qué es lo que va a hacer get? Nos va a traer el resultado de caché, es siempre como la base, el primer objeto que hay, digamos, en la memoria de este script. Nos va a traer el resultado de caché.dependencies.address. Fíjense, dependencies address. Entonces, el resultado de esto, ¿sí? Se accede con get caché dependency address. ¿Sí? Roberto, esto hace referencia a tu pregunta del live coding de Gimbalas del otro día. ¿Sí? Entonces, la diferencia de este lenguaje para los que sepan programar es que da por sentado que almacena todos los resultados de cada línea, digamos, del código como una variable. Hay formas de optimizar esto, o sea, lo que tiene de lindo es que nos deja todo fácil para acceder fácilmente sin andar definiendo variables y haciendo todas cosas que solemos hacer en otros idiomas. Acá todo se autodocumenta y todos son variables y ya están todas disponibles para nosotros, para programar rápido y lo más fácil posible. Entonces, voy a seguir rápido. Aquí definimos otra variable, digamos, llamada asset name, ¿sí? Eh, que lo que va a hacer es de tipo data, o sea que es como una constante, ¿sí? Es guardar un dato. Puede ser cualquier cosa, en este caso es un pedacito de texto, un texto que se llama Game Changer NFT, que para los que sepan es el asset name del NFT que vamos a crear, ¿sí? Eh, son asset name y policy ID son los dos elementos con los cuales podemos ubicar digamos, un, eh, native asset en Cardano, que son los tokens o NFTs que conocemos. Lo mismo, otra vez, data, y acá 100. Lo que vamos a estar haciendo acá es definir la cantidad de estos tokens que vamos a emitir. Fíjense que al decir es un NFT lo que vamos a estar haciendo, pero al decir 100 en realidad no es un NFT, lo estamos trabajando como un semi-fungible token. Para que realmente sea un NFT, deberíamos hacer esto,
Ujú.
cantidad 1, ¿sí? Pero bueno, para probar, para demostrar el punto, les voy a mostrar cómo podemos crear varios de estos, ¿sí? Con solo cambiar este número. Luego, current slot number. Roberto, ¿te acordás? ¿Sabés lo que son los slot numbers? El
Sí, sí.
slot, perfecto. Bueno, básicamente es el reloj universal que tiene Cardano, en la medida más básica, más chica de tiempo que maneja Cardano. Y con esto lo que estamos obteniendo con esta función, ¿sí?, del lenguaje es pedirle a Cardano, a los nodos detrás de la billetera, denme ya la hora de Cardano. ¿Qué hora tiene Cardano en este momento? ¿En qué punto de la historia de Cardano estamos? ¿Sí? Deadline slot number, como por ahí ya sabrán esto, que un NFT, la idea es que de alguna manera, con una política de emisión limitada, podamos, o sea, limitar esta política de emisión para que no se vuelva a emitir este NFT indefinidamente y generemos inflación eh, de este NFT. Lo que hacemos en Cardano es decirle a qué hora, qué día, qué fecha se va a dejar de emitir, ¿sí? Para siempre este NFT. Y se hace calculando también un slot number. Se hace calculando una fecha futura. Para calcular esta fecha futura, macro, otra vez, estas funciones del lenguaje. ¿Qué tal, Sebastián? Bienvenido. Eh, Usamos esta función, estas funciones del lenguaje, y fíjense que usamos una que se llama addBitNumber, eh, que lo que hace es sumar estos números que trabajamos en formato de string, de texto. No voy a entrar en mucho detalle, pero fíjense que nosotros podríamos haber hecho esto. Trabajar el value la cantidad, como un número. Lo podríamos haber hecho. Pero en Cardano y en blockchain, ¿qué pasa cuando de golpe tenemos números así? Porque estamos hablando de por ahí la unidad más chica de la moneda que estamos creando, si estuviéramos creando una moneda. ¿Qué pasa cuando tenemos un slot number? También así, cuando la fecha de Cardano tenga muchos años en el futuro y tengamos un número enorme. Entonces, para evitar eso, lo que se hace es trabajar en formato de texto los números y usamos funciones especiales, en este caso las que terminan en big num, para poder trabajar estos números, ¿sí? Y esto le hago propaganda acá a a Sebastián. Para los que saben, detrás de Game Changer está la Cardano Serialization Lib, que es la librería que ha creado Emurgo. Literalmente usamos el tipo de dato big number de la Cardano Serialization Lib. Por eso también respetamos la definición aquí exacta de big number. Entonces, otra vez, esta macro, fíjense que tiene, para sumar mínimamente necesitamos dos números, A y B, sumar un valor a otro valor numérico. Entonces, fíjense que tenemos aquí un argumento, aquí un argumento, perdón, un argumento, y aquí tenemos el segundo argumento, ¿sí?
Ujú,
Para el primer argumento usamos la famosa get, la famosa función get, para traernos el resultado de current slot number. Luego, hardcodeamos, o escribimos directamente el número de lo que queremos sumar, ¿sí? Que esto, si no me equivoco, era un día. Un día expresado en segundos. Me olvidé de decirles, actualmente la convención es un slot number, es un segundo en Cardano.
ujú,
Voy más rápido porque no sé cuánto tiempo nos queda. Minting Policy. Dijimos, vamos a emitir, crear un NFT, o bueno, en este caso, ese semi-fungible token, eh, semi-fungible. Para decir, para poder limitar, que no se vuelva a poder emitir este asset, este token, digamos, a futuro, tenemos que definirle a Cardano una política de emisión. Qué hermoso poder darle la orden a un sistema de decir, por favor, cumplí esta política de emisión para mi moneda, para mi native asset, ¿sí? Para mi token, y que nada ni nadie en el mundo pueda cambiarla, para poder confiar en estos sistemas. Entonces, aquí definimos eso. Súper rápido, escribimos con un poquito de código, definimos lo que Cardano entiende como native script. A mí me gusta llamarlo contrato tonto. En vez de el contrato inteligente, los smart contracts, que también tiene Cardano, a mí me gusta llamar esta otra versión, porque es igual, o sea, está a la misma altura, tiene el mismo poder, ¿sí? Pero es más simple. Para los que piensen, bueno, los smart contracts son muy complicados, es demasiado, yo solamente quiero algo simple, pregúntense si con un contrato tonto, con un native script, lo podemos lograr. Muchas cosas podemos lograr con esto. Entonces, lo básico que podemos lograr es decir quién va a ser el emisor, el único emisor, la única billetera capaz de mintear, de volver a, o sea, de poder crear este token. Para ello, lo que hacemos, definimos aquí, lo que hacemos es pasar aquí el hash, ¿sí? De nuestra... Es complicado explicarlo, pero lo voy a definir así muy brutamente, perdonen, así lo hago rápido. Una referencia, un hash a nuestra private key, a la llave privada de nuestras billeteras, ¿sí?
Adriano, ¿es la llave privada o es la llave pública?
No, por supuesto, es la llave pública, pero quería hacerlo más, yo dije, brutamente.
Ok, ok, perdón.
Me ganaste, me ganaste. Está bien, es que quiero ir rápido. Pero la llave pública no deja de ser también una expresión, una relación, ¿sí? Hacia una llave privada. Que lo que importa es la llave privada. La llave pública nos ayuda a ubicar, a referenciar la llave privada. Pero la llave privada es realmente lo que nos importa, porque el que tenga el control de la llave privada es el que puede, en este caso, emitir este token. Entonces, este hash, muy bien, es llave pública, pero este hash hace referencia a una llave privada de la billetera del que ejecuta este código. Y por favor, fíjense esto: dependencies, address info, payment key hash, ¿sí? Fíjense, dependencies, address info, la variable o el pedazo de código que habíamos resuelto en esta instancia. Y accedemos a payment key hash, que no lo vemos aquí, pero el resultado de esta parte del código nos da un montón de datos. Entre ellas, el hash de la llave pública de nuestra billetera. ¿Ok? Entonces, con esto resolvemos el quién. La gran pregunta, ¿quién? ¿Quién puede mintear el NFT? Con esta parte respondemos al cuándo. ¿Cuándo o hasta cuándo podemos mintear este token? Y aquí, acuérdense, deadline slot number era el cálculo de la fecha actual más un día. ¿Sí? Entonces, con esto hemos definido nuestra famosa política de emisión. Entonces, después vamos a build. ¿Sí? En build transaction, este tipo de función, lo que hace es justamente construir nuestra transacción de Cardano. Es el objetivo de todo este cálculo auxiliar de cosas que hemos estado haciendo. Ahora las vamos a usar todas, ¿sí? Entonces, definimos un nombre, ¿sí? Interno. Este es el nombre interno con el cual vamos a llamar a la transacción internamente en Game Changer. Esto no se guarda en la blockchain. Este título es un nombre externo público, que sí se guarda en la blockchain, se guardan los metadatos de la transacción. Es parte del estándar de Game Changer para nombrar nuestras transacciones y poder ubicarlas. Porque si no, es un lío, no sabemos nunca qué transacción era a la cual nos importaba, la cual queríamos ubicar, por ejemplo, en la que minteamos toda una colección importante para nosotros. Entonces, ponerle el nombre a las transacciones tiene mucho sentido. Esto es público y va en la blockchain. Después, ahora vamos a lo importante. Definimos la transacción de Cardano. Primero, definimos un TTL, un time to live, tiempo de vida. ¿Sí? Definimos hasta cuándo esta transacción es válida. ¿Sí? Para Cardano. Fíjense que usamos el deadline slot number. ¿Sí? Eh, luego, bueno, ustedes sigan este formato, ¿no? Time to live, until. Until significa hasta. Hasta este slot number que referenciamos con este get. Luego, mints. En mints ocurre la magia de mintear, de crear nuevos assets. También de quemar. Podríamos estar quemando aquí si pasamos una cantidad negativa. Pero bueno, en este caso queremos emitir, entonces el número es positivo. Fíjense que usamos un policy ID, que es una referencia, un hash, a la política de emisión. ¿Sí? Entonces fíjense que minting policy era de tipo native script. Cuando se ejecuta este pedazo de código, nos entrega listo, servido para que nosotros fácilmente lo usemos sin necesitar de programar nada más, nos entrega la minting policy, la política de emisión, como dato, lista para ser usada como dato, pero también nos entrega el hash, ¿sí? Esta referencia hexadecimal de ese dato, o sea, un resumen, ¿sí? Un hash como criptográfico sobre ese dato más grande. Ambas cosas las usamos. El hash de la política de emisión es nuestro Policy ID, el famoso Policy ID de los tokens y NFTs de Cardano. Fíjense que entonces es un get hacia dependencies, minting policy, y esto que es el resultado de minting policy, esta propiedad que está dentro del resultado de minting policy, que es el hash, ¿sí? Del native script. Aquí otro get en el cual traemos el asset name que habíamos escrito arriba, ¿sí? Y aquí traemos la cantidad, el quantity de lo que queríamos emitir, que dijimos que íbamos a emitir 100 para probar, y eso no era un NFT exactamente. Con un quantity de 1 sería un NFT. Bueno, luego, outputs. Acuérdense, esto puede ser una lista de JSON o puede ser un objeto de JSON. Si trabajamos las cosas como un objeto de JSON, podemos darle nombres arbitrarios a cada ítem, a cada variable del lenguaje. En este caso, se llama example drop porque estamos haciendo literalmente un drop, ¿sí? De este NFT. Minteamos y al mismo tiempo distribuimos a distintas direcciones, atómicamente en la misma transacción, para no perder ni tiempo ni fees. Y le ponemos drop 01, por ejemplo, es el nombre arbitrario al que podemos llamar. Juan, sí.
Adriano, primero que todo, déjame decirte, tú eres un excelente instructor, profesor, coach, amazing. Yo estoy supremamente sorprendido, increíble. Primero que todo.
Gracias.
Segundo, mira, creo que falta un poquito todavía para terminar todo el proceso y podría ser que lo dejáramos para la próxima semana, así le damos la oportunidad a Martín y a Pedro de interactuar en inglés y como que mantenemos ese esquema, ¿te parece? De pronto empezamos lo que alcancemos 30 minutos y luego
Me,
simplemente cambiamos, ¿les parece?
me súper parece. Si quieren, podemos completar estos 3 minutos que quedan para
Vale,
las y 45. 3 minutos.
perfecto.
Así
Vale,
le termino de explicar esto a Roberto. Él ya tiene la introducción, entonces le va a servir.
de
Súper
una.
rápido.
Vale,
Súper
vale.
rápido. Perdón, súper
No,
rápido.
no, de ninguna manera, todo bien, pero solo que, vale.
Definimos outputs, las
Súper.
salidas.
Lo estás
Gracias,
haciendo
Juan.
súper bien, by the way. Amazing.
Definimos las salidas. ¿sí? Digamos, vamos haciendo el drop de cada NFT si queremos. Esto es opcional. Si no lo hacemos, vuelve como vuelto a la billetera que lo mintió, que lo creó. Esto lo podríamos omitir. Fíjense que también estamos agregando ADA acá y esto es porque podemos, pero lo podríamos borrar y Game Changer se va a hacer cargo del ADA mínimo necesario. No hay que calcular nada más, darle la orden a Game Changer y él lo hace, no hay que calcular nada. Witnesses. Aquí debemos listar nuestros minting scripts, todos los native scripts que usemos. Fíjense que traemos la propiedad scriptx de minting policy, ¿sí? Aquí es el hash y aquí traemos el dato exactamente de la policy. Aquí son los metadatos de Cardano. Esto no lo voy a explicar, pero más o menos ya lo conocen. Aquí va la policy ID y aquí va el asset name, ¿sí? Y aquí los datos. Súper rápido. Sign. Con esto firmamos la transacción. Submit. Con esto la enviamos a la blockchain una vez que la firmamos. Y finally, solo elegimos a dedo algunos resultados de este script para devolvérselo al que ejecutó el script. Listo, ya está. Con eso, si lo prueban a este demo, van a poder mintear NFTs. Juan, ya está.
Muchísimas gracias, Adriano.
Super.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you.
Perdón, I'm sorry for the English speakers
I,
in the
I,
room.
I think I wanted to say I really wanted to be really selfish and keep the whole sessions in Spanish. There are so few resources in Spanish for this kind of thing. And the reality is that this wallet is a really good teaching tool. It really is. It just kind of shows you what goes behind what is behind every little concept. What is a policy minting? What all this means and where does it fit in the transaction and all the different stages of the transaction. Es una excelente herramienta para enseñar y gracias, Adriano. Lo vamos a usar con la gente de Venezuela. Muchas gracias.
Gracias Roberto y pregúntame si quieres después por DMs lo que falte o en las
Gracias.
live sessions. Okay, now Pedro, do you want to lead the second part because you have an agenda? I'm sorry for the time.
Hey everyone. So I think the main thing I wanted to approach would be just to close. So Roberto was saying about creating the NFT part, and we covered all that right now, right?
It's breaking up.
Steve,
Pedro,
just a part of it.
you have some issues with the audio, or I'm the only one
Oh,
listening?
is it better now?
Yeah, better now. I hope
Okay.
Yeah, a bit.
Okay. That's weird. Let me just try to tweak it a bit here. It's
We're kind of losing you a bit.
Seems like a signal issue.
Oh.
What about now?
Better.
Still bad.
No,
Better.
better.
Okay, so I'll try to use this microphone, which is actually the webcam. So I was just asking, in terms of the first point of the agenda, which was Roberto getting at ease with minting NFTs on a game changer script, that's all sorted. You covered all that right now?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can move on. Yeah, thanks.
Sure. So yeah, what I had more on the topics here was this idea to put together a documentation. So let me just share my window here. And second. There we go. Hello. Got it?
Yeah.
Yes, we.
Okay. So yeah, so the idea I had here was I took a look at the documentation in Game Changer, and it's a bit technical. It's like the classes and everything that you can use to do the scripts and everything. So if I click there, what I put together even during the last call that we had was this type of user, like a help documentation for the non-technical users, you know, because obviously we do have all those concepts, but here in terms of kinds of wallet, for example, you do explain it a bit on the texts on the UI, but maybe we could have a document that just has that vertically, and the person can scroll up and down, and you know, and I'm not sure, but probably I would suggest that this is really just a browser a website, a Docusaurus, for example, where instead of just running inside a small window in Game Changer, it could be more explorable and bookmarkable and shareable and all that. This is something that I'm doing on other projects as well. So I'm happy to help, you know, set up the Docusaurus installation and start plotting out the content. But I really want your validation for the idea and for the content itself. So in terms of overall user concepts, we have here the kinds of wallets, some links or reference documentations to what is a seed phrase and etc. So for the person that's being onboarded to crypto, a bit about how to use your address book. I think this is a paste from what Adriano was replying to me, but I need to experiment a bit and try it myself. And then here as well, in terms of the scripts, I know that, like again, like I was just saying, you do have documentation in Game Changer itself, but maybe it could be good to have some this would be more like guides where the user can go and see a journey of, for example, here we would be presenting the concepts of around what are the frameworks for everything. So what are steps, how things go through, like preparing a bit the code to prepare the transaction, to sign it, to send it. So this type of framework concepts. And then here we would be going a bit more into more concepts. So like what does title, description, export as, and etc. means. And then here we would have more the different types of building blocks. So checking balances, so the types of operations that you can do in Game Changer. I'm not sure how this relates to the documentation that you already have, but I invite you to take a look and edit this document as you want, because like I said, I can do the type of part on the Docusaurus, but it would be important that you curate and change this to whatever makes sense to you, because eventually even the content of each of these, for example, composing a transaction or getting signatures, we would need this content coming from your side, or maybe we can collaborate in putting it together. But this would need to be a bit of a paragraph about what lines, what type of scripts you need to put, what lines you need to put in your script, and all that. And then here, so this part is more introductory, and this part would be really the examples for the users. So this would be like use cases of how to do things in Game Changer. So, for example, here is a script that we were talking with Florian from New, that he asked every month. He needs to do transactions for X number of people. We could use this type of example, and so that's why I call this examples. So, so the simple script is an invoice. So this is a script that you can, store to get someone to pay you. But then how to get that as a link so that you can share it to someone, send the invoice to someone. So this is what I had thought in this section of the Docusaurus documentation. Yeah, so long story short, take a look at it and let me know if this is good for you. Again, edit anything you want, and let's keep in touch.
This is awesome. Thanks so much. And you're right. I mean, we need to create like guides and some sort of tutorials, user-centric, not just the technical automatically generated documentation from the language. So this is perfect. And yes, just maybe the most quick suggestion right now is to somehow explain that this language allows you to do more than just signing, or building transactions. You can be doing for example, CIP8 signing, you can be doing some sort of data processing.
CIP8?
Yes, this standard for signing messages
Okay.
with your addresses, let's say.
Mhm.
And I mean, you can do even other stuff that has nothing to do maybe with blockchain. For example, I myself, I am using like
more like Web3 things.
yeah, exactly. I mean, super quick. There is a demo that it's an encryptor demo, something like that, that is basically encrypting a JSON piece of data and allowing you later to run a second script that decrypts it. Super simple way to actually encrypt and decrypt your own personal data. And I am kind of using it, and it has nothing to do with blockchain itself. And it's not using even
So
private key.
you can send this type of string to Game Changer, or a blob of any content.
It's a very Web3 tooling, tool. You can do a lot of stuff. So just to clarify, because we are maybe focused on what maybe we have been seeing on other systems, and this is very broad, right? You can do a lot of stuff. But Pedro, this is amazing. Thanks a lot, and I will be contributing here. Thanks. This is awesome.
Great. So this was one of the topics, and now coming back to so here I wanted to ask a bit in terms of how Game Changer is work. Oh, sorry, Juan.
Pedro, I was thinking, can you put that link on the chat so we can have access?
Yes.
Super,
yep.
Thanks.
I'm gonna put a link for these topics for today.
This is great, yes.
And
can we prioritize the Martin Menier's part? So just in case we end up out of time. I'm sorry, Pedro, but I'm sorry.
It's a good idea, yeah.
So
the idea here was, hi Martin. So I mentioned this on the last call we had, and that there was this wallet in Bitcoin. I'm going to try to play the video now. I'm not sure that the audio is surely not going to come through because I didn't share my audio. But this is a Raspberry Pi device that's very common in Bitcoin culture because you can do it yourself. It's open source code, and the video is really just selling. If you open the link at this timestamp that I shared, he's really selling the device as amnesiac. It doesn't hold anything. It just holds like 32 megabytes of OS, a Linux OS and libraries. And then they do everything on this type of UI. So what he's going to show later is that eventually, because it can generate a seed phrase, it can also tell you the seed phrase in words for you to make notes. And they also have this funny looking template where you see, you can just print this sheet, and because the device, you can see on the bottom right corner there, the device is going to go through all the subdivisions, like these small subdivisions, and one by one, it's going to take like 5 minutes or more for the person or a lot more but it is a way that for people that don't want to go and get a printer or anything like that, you can really just randomize your seed phrase, store it in this format, obviously store it in this format, make a copy, and then you have this amnesiac device that just generates signatures. Okay. So the idea was to show this to you guys and say, when can we have something like this for Cardano? And how could this articulate with what Martin can do, with maybe a possible game changer working offline, air-gapped, which would be the easiest path. But I think this could have enormous value for the ecosystem, because we know just now what's happening with Ledger and everything. I just bought 2 Ledgers and now I want to throw them away. So yeah, I'm very curious to hear your feedback. Adriano?
Okay. So first, I want to make an emphasis here in the encryption of the QR code data, and especially encrypting when we are sharing private keys or mnemonics. So I know this is very used. I know how popular. I mean, I didn't know that it was popular, that it existed. Actually, I believe you that it's popular, that people is relying on this. But to have an unencrypted, if this is unencrypted, and because of the size, I bet it is unencrypted. If you have unencrypted private keys or mnemonics on a QR code, if you commit the tiny minimal error of showing it a bit to a camera once, and you got recorded or something like that, someone is spying on you somehow, you know, it's not that
So
good.
you think
Game Changer
if
has encrypted QR codes, and what you're saying to combine these things with a device is still a very cool thing. And if Martin wants, of course, I will work with him side by side to have our own Cardano ledger without the recovery feature. We can be doing something like that for sure. Of course, it would be nice to have like a lot of review of the code and a lot of stuff. It would be nice to take care of this.
I think
other stuff to do it
this
properly.
could be even a project that we just put a proposal in to get funded, because it's going to take like tens and tens or hundreds of hours. So it could be something that we actually need to put in the roadmap. But we have the head start of this project already existing, being open source. So in a way, if the whole hardware thing is already, the hardware stack, let's say, it's really a matter of changing the code for seed signer, right? But one question to you is, these QR codes seem fairly low res, and they are drawable by hand, because you're saying because they don't have enough information, that's why they're drawable. And if they were encrypted, they would be a lot more dense.
Yes, exactly. That's why our QR codes on Game Changer are more dense. And this one, I bet it's not encrypted. I bet. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I bet those are unencrypted, and they are extremely, insecure because of that.
Yeah.
Maybe they are, recommending people, hey, don't show this, whatever. I am still recommending people, suggesting people not to show our encrypted QR codes, because I'm a bit paranoid. But our QR codes can be. I could be sharing you mine, some wallets of mine on an Express or gift format.
For example,
and it's okay.
I could get the seed phrase like in this format, and if I encrypt it with a simple thing like an 8-bit pin, not 8-bit, but like 5 characters or a small password or something. So it's going to be more than a number of. But if I just reduce a bit, okay, you cannot create a whole sentence of a password. You just need to select a password that just encrypts so that the code is not readable and is strong enough that we find the balance between having a very, very long password that's going to grow the density a lot, and having something that's at least not actionable,
To find the balance, it's important, but in these cases, you want to be safe, and this is a problem. If we are saying, because if it's a device, people is going to be safe, it's not, it's not actually true.
Yeah.
You have to do.
Let's take a look at it.
Okay, we will be studying this for sure. Martin, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, it's a very cool device. Wondering what the specifications are, resolutions of the display, because really, if you could maybe run the PayPad on it as well, which would be cool. Because at the moment, Raspberry Pi 4 is not available. It's very difficult for my project.
This is a 0 or something. They actually break the Wi-Fi components out of it and everything. I read something like that. There's a shopping list.
Yeah,
Raspberry Pi 0.
Designer. Okay, I will check it out. Very cool.
Yeah. you have the links here if you want. I'm just gonna drop all of them.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
they're
chat.
in the Discord as well. Okay, cool.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, it's just an idea, but like I said, it could be a proposal, and if someone, whoever builds this type of thing first, is I think going to be providing a great service, as you are doing with the terminal of payments and everything, and especially because I know you have those skill sets. Yeah, it would be cool. But another thing that I could leave in the table is there's this possibility of using Game Changer. It's like having an air-gapped Game Changer phone communicating with the browser online. So the cold part communicating with and the key is always just on the cold part. So this would be more for just for Adriano. But yeah, it would be an alternative to writing the whole thing on Raspberry Pi to just use a portable version of Game Changer. Do you think the current build of Game Changer would work offline portable?
Yeah, this
No.
is a great question. So I would like to add some small features on this beta, on this version 2, to actually do a much cooler, let's say, user experience on this kind of usages. But another thing that you could be doing right now, like right now with the current development stage of the beta, is to make shared treasuries work as your usually make your
Shared
single
what?
shared treasuries. Like on
Okay.
a DAO. So if you make a
Mhm.
shared treasury, meaning you have to combine a set of keys to actually spend or delegate with those funds. The thing is that you could actually be using your own private keys from 2 different wallets, meaning that you can have a second authentication factor kind of experience using shared treasuries for your own. And this is 100% doable right now with the beta. So this is super, I'm very happy to be able to announce these new features. Game Changer allows you even to...
I need to take a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, we have to make a tutorial for this, and Quasar is interested in the same. So we can maybe align ourselves on a tiny live session and record it and do it because it's important. Yeah.
And when you do that, keep in mind that if you put the content nicely, we could put it on the Docusaurus documentation as well, right? So to have this type of guide explaining how to do the shared treasury in Game Changer.
Cool, thanks. I mean, this is for DAOs, but actually can be used for personal use and whatever. Just the last part of this is you can use shared treasuries the same way you use your own, common wallet, user wallets on blockchain. The same user interface, everything. You can use SmartSend, NFT Creator, but you are actually a DAO, a shared treasury. So this is very nice, and this is what I was trying to accomplish, to have native support for these common basics of Cardano, because this has been in Cardano since ages, and we need wallets to speak, seamlessly in these two languages.
Okay, so maybe this is a good point to ask a bit. So on this point, I was just talking a bit about business development, or basically I wanted to ask you a bit if you have communities already using Game Changer, if you have just the team and some friends of the team, because in terms of adoption, to get feedback and to start having really leveraging, for example, because you have these unique features like working based on redirections and a number of features. where can we start promoting Game Changer to make people go, oh, whoa, this is different, and let's start using this instead? Is this some of the work that Quasar is doing?
Quasar is doing an amazing job on this, and Martin with his work as well. I mean, if you ask me Game Changer is like a Swiss Army knife. You can do so much stuff. Yeah, yay, Martin. I love that thing that you have on your hands. So, Game Changer is a Swiss
for example,
Army knife. Swiss Army knife. So you can do a lot of stuff. But if I may, my biggest suggestion for communities, for developers, for an audience, is RealFi, because I've taken Web 2 successful Web 2 building principles and put them on Web 3. I've taken the URL redirection techniques that a lot of payment, a lot of fintechs are using on Web 2, and I allow Web 3 people to benefit from this. So people is not realizing this yet. When they start to realize that they can easily include payments on their websites, for example, or people can send invoices to people with just a link without much effort,
but for example,
more than ADA,
for a website, for a website or a dApp to be able to use this, the dApp user needs to have a Game Changer.
Right now, yes, but in very few, the roadmap includes other ways to fill funds, to load funds on the wallet. If I manage to include these external services that we usually watch on other products, the idea is to...
Like with card and everything?
Yeah, like with credit and debit cards, and also to use, for example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever other crypto you can use. Of course, there is a legal part we have to study a bit, but this is what I can say of the roadmap regarding this part of the wallet. The idea is to facilitate payments on websites, for example, with just a link, like no other maybe crypto project around. And you can even mint, you can even interact with Bluetooth. You can do everything with just a link. And this is why I built the entire project, to really to one of the reasons why it was to to do RealFi for real, to really open the doors here for RealFi on Cardano. So thanks a lot for these concerns. Yeah, there is no much people using it. There are some, for example, SPOs. Cardano Swarm has been using it for batch payments. People have been minting entire NFT collections. Aldea use it for this as well. But yeah, for sure we need more users, and I would totally appreciate your efforts.
Sure. I'm really just trying to find, for example, when you tell me, so these are basically not home users, but it's like communities that use it for administrative purposes, like not day-to-day, but because the day-to-day implies that you have a lot of interaction with other parties, right? Whether it's merchants or other communities that you're interacting with. But for example, in terms of websites, dApps using it, or live POCs, can you give me some links for the POCs, for example? I know that even on testnet, is there like any websites that you have? You have these code pens, right?
Yeah, I
saw this the other day.
Okay, Okay, for sure. I can share you some more of those, but yeah, and actually some working, for example, projects like the Dandelion contributor portal to make donations and to receive in exchange an NFT, like a proof of contribution. Then Catapult, it's not online right now because we have to put it on pause because some non-viable ways to interact with Catalyst. We didn't have a proper API back in the day, so it's on pause. But maybe the most sophisticated.
Which one did you say after Dandelion? Sorry.
Catapult. Catapult.
Catapult.
That was the name of a DApp that was reviving non-funded projects from Catalyst. Catalyst was able to help people to give second chances with donations and maybe other funding methods in the future to these non-funded Catalyst proposals. But I mean, I don't know when, but I will make the Catapult work with the version 2 of the wallet, and we are going to have a much better and solid product there, and we are going to detach it a bit from Catalyst to don't depend much on those data. That is going to happen, and there are more stuff. Maybe Quasar has them more in mind. I know some people was embedding the wallet inside some websites for some reasons. Of course, we have Martin PayPal and the Totem project using Game Changer, and we have on Gimbalabs the I forgot the name, the NFT project from Gimbalabs, Password Chaos, integrated Game Changer for the minting process, from the selling of the NFTs process. And I don't know.
Okay, that's a no. Maybe I'll align with Quasar and try to mature this a bit. Or obviously he has these in mind as well. So let's save our time for today. I just wanted to ask you a bit as well in terms of making me understand how this works, because you sent this the other day when we were talking with Maestro about an example. I couldn't understand exactly what's highlighted here in green. But you said that a basic tab that asks some data on user's wallet and returns it to itself using URL. Is this what this code is demoing?
Yes, please. If you can very quickly run the code, you will see what I'm saying. If you can run that, let's try.
How do I run this?
Click on run on Game Changer Wallet.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to remind you,
I did this once, and then this is what network?
Yeah, that's it.
Is it?
That's it.
But in this case, sorry.
Yes, tell me. You couldn't sign.
I think it's not going to. Well, I'm not sure what network am I using at this moment. Do you know?
Okay. When
is this going to be my mainnet address or?
No. That's your pre-production.
This is a burner.
Yes, that's a burner. So wait a second. Just to clarify something on CodePen, because on how CodePen works, and because of some security constraints enforcements on Game Changer. Burner wallets are ideal for CodePen, are ideal for embedding the wallet, because asking passwords when you are embedding Game Changer is extremely dangerous. So we have been limiting that feature when the wallet is embedded. And on CodePen is very cool to try things right away, but it's cool. I mean, it's nice if you use burner wallets on CodePen just because you're developing there. CodePen is just for demos, okay, or development. So just to clarify, what you are seeing, and you can check
but the
this
fact is,
on the footer. Check the footer of the wallet. It says embedded mode. Game Changer detects that you're embedding the wallet inside a website.
Okay, I have the network there. But I tried this one before, and it's going to go through a stage where it's going to ask me for the password, and it fails because it cannot get the password. So I thought I need to run this in outside of embed mode, no?
No, go ahead. You're on burner now. It's going to work. It's what I'm being telling you. Don't worry. It's going to ask for a password, but internally, because burners handle the password on your device. The password is actually on your device. I mean, it's non-custodial from our point of view, but you have the keys and the password encryption on your device, on burners, right? That's how burners work. You can see there that it's very easy with burners. And then you
so I can click return with the data now?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Just to clarify, here we are using URL redirections to go to the wallet and to return with the data. And all that thing that you're watching there, all that JSON is the returned data. And if you go to the last part very quickly, you're going to see that there is a sign, like it should be signature actually. All that data has been cryptographically signed with your private keys. So we have been sending back data to the DApp, in this case, to this DApp, this HTML, and even
so this code asks Game Changer for this information.
Yeah, exactly. It's asking all that information, and even there is like an agreement, like a you can read the agreement there property. That is very fun. It's actually saying myself, the user of wallet, your address, accepts to connect with the DApp, and all this stuff is cryptographically signed. It's like a contract or something like that. It's just to prove the idea that you can ask some information. And what I was saying is the same demo, but instead of asking for data, okay, you could be actually running a transaction and maybe returning the transaction hash. So the app can track the status. That is very common.
Okay, so now I understand the first sentence where say a basic tab asks for the user's wallet and returns its wallet data and returns it to itself, etc. But here, instead of asking the data, one could simply build inside a transaction. Could you submit it with it would need to go back and forth, right? The user would need to approve and
no, I mean, yes, of course, you have this back and forth that we have been using on Web 2 all the time, and we are not used to on Web 3. I understand, but remember that this can allow us to use Game Changer or Web 3, even like Martin is doing, interacting with devices. So, this is why we are different. And in this case, yes, you will be having just one back and forth if you design this properly. And if the DApp requests Game Changer wallet to build a transaction, so the DApp redirects to Game Changer builds the transaction, signs the transaction, and submits the transaction, and then we can go back to the DApp, maybe with a transaction hash, so the DApp can track, for example, using Maestro, you can track the status of that transaction through the transaction hash, and that's it. And you have a payment, you have a mint, you have an interaction with a smart contract, you name it. So this is what I was trying to say.
Okay. So, and could we talk a bit about how this would articulate? Did you take a look at what I wrote to you yesterday about how this type of webhook notification could work with this system?
I actually was not at home, so I'm sorry I did not check that in
Okay.
detail, but I believe I understand maybe how your webhooks work. I mean, the idea of webhooks.
So I can give you a one-liner version of how it works is simply that when you create a project with Maestro, you get given an API key. So as you sign up and it's set, you decide to have a project on a certain network, and then you get to copy your API key. And that's going to just basically identify you on whatever call you make to Maestro. And then what happens is you use our endpoint to submit a transaction, which is this one, which is a very simple, you have a signed transaction, you submit it to this endpoint, and it's Maestro that puts the transaction on chain, that submits the transaction. But then because it went through here with your API key, we know this is your transaction. And what we do is we're able to monitor the transaction. And because you defined a webhook listener to be updated about what happened with the transaction, you said here, for my project, something, I want to be notified on the status of my transactions at this endpoint listener that you need to be running. Or that's the question that I wanted to debate with you a bit, because if you give here a URL that is on Game Changer, on your servers, let's say, then Maestro is going to notify Game Changer. But if we're talking about a JPEG store that wants to create an invoice that gets paid by Game Changer, submitted by Maestro, and then notifies JPEG store again, this webhook here would be on the dApp side, not on Game Changer's side.
Yeah, that's the I agree, and that should be the thing. I mean, the idea of these webhooks that you can provide fit more well into the dApp, of course, side of this relationship. And keep in mind that Game Changer does the submit and the awaiting for the transaction to get confirmed on the blockchain if you instruct this on the code. So you could be just receiving the transaction hash when Game Changer confirms that the transaction has been accepted on the blockchain. So you could be just checking for the status of this transaction, for the state of this transaction, just to double check to verify from your end, from the dApp side end. Game Changer allows you to work, how can I say, in a very web-free manner, 100% on client side, if you want, or as in client side as possible. So these webhooks, of course, a lot of infrastructure services that you provide and other providers give us fit more well maybe into the dApp side. In this case, we solve so much stuff on Game Changer that we can actually, for example, even you can, I mean, of course, we have to see how this scales and how this fits into our with Dandelion, right? When we have to see how this performs and how we can actually decentralize our backend services and monetize them. We are actively trying to solve this, but in the meanwhile, Game Changer does all these things, even to query, for example, the.
Do you have an example then of like a CodePen example of just a payment transaction being prepared by a dApp? I mean, so this part of the code of the screen represents the dApp, right? So
yes,
and this is what's being sent to Game Changer.
Yes, please, right now, go do it yourself. Go to Game Changer very quick. You can do it.
Okay.
Adriano, I
So,
can also do a demonstration of the PayPad.
of course, PayPal does it perfectly.
I think I have that demonstration that you did in Gimbal Labs, but I didn't really follow it. So it's this one here, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, but
so I'm going to take a look at this one because I didn't really understand it that well. But maybe we can do it now as well.
okay, but go
So
to the beta.
the thing here is that I'm on production.
Yeah, go to the beta. Actually, go to the beta because that code pen is prepared for the beta. If you want to go to, I mean, to the same on production, it's going to
I think
change.
I have another browser where I have let me just reshare.
Okay, but don't worry because we just need to access the playground. We don't need even to have funds. I mean, it's not. You will need those to test.
My computer is just
cool.
dragging a bit.
Yeah, we have 2 more minutes to be able to do it because 10:30 is live calling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
Juan.
Okay.
Is this the right URL?
No, it's
No, this
beta.
is the old one.
Yes.
Okay.
It's beta
Playground.
preprod. No, but that, I mean, that's not the right. It's beta preprod one.
Oh, so I need to put beta
Yes.
with an
Yes.
iPhone.
So that's.
And what do I need to find in the playground?
Wait, I didn't get the question. What was it?
What do I need to find in the playground?
Okay. The code that is there by default, it will make a transaction. Just copy that code. Copy all.
Okay.
And now paste it.
Done.
Paste it on. Go to the code pen. The one you were playing with.
Yeah. You're not seeing it, but I'm pasting it on CodePen now.
Wait, but you have to know where to paste it. There is
Okay. 1 second.
I guess there is a variable that it's called. Yeah, if you have the code pen here, it's better.
Yes.
Code
So
there.
Here,
I mean, paste the JSON inside the code.
1 second.
Where it says code equals
Inside.
all that stuff. Yeah, replace all
Here.
that script. Yes, with the code. No, until the end. There, exactly. Paste the content there.
Okay. Pasting in.
You have double brackets there. Double. That's. Yeah, sorry.
Curly braces.
Curly braces.
Okay.
So now run that code. Click on run. And you are being requested to create a transaction. That's it.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Okay.
This was really interesting.
You
Thank
can
you so
check
much for
there
talking
the
about so many different things.
No, thanks you guys for the interest and
So
everything.
I think this is what I was getting to. Remember that I said about the password?
Yeah.
Because in this case, I do have a wallet. I'm not on a burner. So I need to toggle to a burner, right?
Yes, to try this on CodePen, you need a burner. This actually can be deployed, of course, on a proper website, and you won't be requiring a burner anymore. This happens when you embed the wallet. And remember, in CodePen, we are embedding Game Changer to have it all on the same screen, on the same layout. It's just a trick to work on CodePen.
Okay, guys, I think it's time for us
to Thank you so
leave.
much. I learned a lot.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Pedro,
Martin,
awesome to
for
have
coming
you.
and
Martin, thank you for coming over.
Yeah, thanks
see you next week.
For the the wave share LCD tip. Maybe I will going to try that. Maybe you can make the PayPad smaller, cheaper. More people can buy it, and then
hope so.
we can really scale this project.
Let's hack Game
Yeah,
Boys
yeah.
to make Cardano Ledger.
Speak soon.
So guys, I see you in live code in 1 second. Thank you. We'll talk.
Bye bye.
I'll post this to the server. Thank you, Adriano. We'll talk.